Welcome back everyone. Today in this physiology module we are going to discuss this important topic of lung volumes and capacities. The lung is a hollow space, okay, and it can hold some volumes and capacities of air. And this is a very clinically relevant topic also, okay. So let's get into it. Okay. Now we have two types of volumes of lungs, okay. Volumes of lungs, okay. We have two types, okay. First one is our static lung volume. Static lung volume, okay. Static lung volume. Another one is our dynamic lung volume. Dynamic lung volume. One is during static at rest, and dynamic while taking in breathing, okay. Static lung volume, for example, we have our all important tidal volume, very simple, which is our 500 milliliters, okay. Dynamic lung volume, we have our FEV subscript 1. What does this stand for? Forced expiratory volume. FEV, forced expiratory volume, and one starts for in first second. Forced expiratory volume in first second, FEV1, okay. This is a dynamic lung volume example. We'll see in detail what is the deal with FEV1. For now we'll see only the examples. Now in the static lung volume, remember, it's a time independent measurement. Time independent measurement, okay. Now from this example, first second, we are saying here first second. For example, FEV1, forced expiratory volume in first second. So this one is a time dependent measurement. Time dependent measurement, okay. Very simple. And also this one, the importance here is the dynamic lung volume is used for diagnosis. Used for diagnosis, time dependent and used for diagnosis. Whether static volume is a time independent, okay. Let's start with our static lung volume discussion, okay. Static lung volumes, okay. We'll start the discussion off with a graph here, okay. In this graph, we will discuss all the necessary static lung volumes, okay. Now it's a positive line, okay. Above, this is our inspiration part, and below, this is our expiration part, okay. Yes. So first here we'll draw a graph here, okay. This graph seems like this, okay. This is our inspiration, expiration, inspiration, expiration. This is our inspiration, this is our expiration. This one, okay. This first is our tidal volume, okay. This is our tidal volume. First we'll draw all the graphs, then we'll write what do we mean and what are the values in the volumes of the different graphs, okay. This is our tidal volume. Coming up next, second graph, we have along with this tidal volume, okay, this volume here, okay, this volume here up to this much, okay, up to this much, okay. This is our inspiratory reserve volume. Inspiratory reserve volume, okay. We can draw the demarcation here. This is the tidal volume demarcation, above which is our inspiratory reserve volume. This is our tidal volume value, okay. This is our number 2, inspiratory reserve volume. Okay, coming up next we have our below, from here till here. Okay, this is all our important expiratory reserve volume. Expiratory reserve volume. Okay, and finally, so its limit is here. Okay, this is our expiratory reserve volume, and finally last limit here, this one, this part. This is our fourth, that is our residual volume. Residual volume. Okay, so let's again see the different graphs. This is our first volume, the tidal volume here. Okay, above and more than this tidal volume, we have our second volume, that is our inspiratory reserve volume. This part, above and beyond the tidal volume. We'll discuss everything, the values. First we'll see the graphs. Okay, now the third graph we have below and beyond the tidal volume, expiratory reserve volume, and finally after everything is done we have our residual volume. So these four volumes, tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. Okay, these are our all important lung volumes. Okay, more specifically static lung volumes. This one is our tidal volume graph. Okay, yes, so let's get into discussion one by one. First is our tidal volume. Tidal volume, first the value is our 500 milliliters. Okay, it is the volume of air, okay, that move in and out, that move in and out during normal breathing. Normal breathing, the breathe we do while sleep, during just normal sitting, is the volume of air that move in and out during normal breathing. It's 500 milliliter of air, that is our tidal volume. Now changing the color to the second volume, we had our what? Yes, inspiratory reserve volume, IRV, inspiratory reserve volume. Okay, first the value is here 2 to 3 liters. 2 to 3 liters, it's not 2.3 liters, it's 2 to 3 liters. Okay, yes, it is the volume of air, okay, by maximal inspiratory effort. Maximal inspiratory effort. Okay, what I have said, over and beyond the, yes, tidal volume. I have said in the graph here, over and beyond the tidal volume here. Volume of air by maximal inspiratory effort. Maximal inspiratory effort. Maximum inspiratory effort, the volume of air we take is 2 to 3 liters. It's over and beyond the tidal volume. Tidal volume is not included here. This is a inspiratory reserve volume. Okay, very simple to understand. We tend to forget most of the things here. We think it's difficult. It's very simple here. Okay, moving on, we'll change the color, matching the graph color. Expiratory reserve volume. First is inspiratory reserve volume, ERV, expiratory reserve volume. Okay, first the value is here 1.3 liters. Value is here 1.3 liters. This specific exact value here. Now what is this? This is the volume of air. Okay, it's a volume of air by maximal, yes, now we know the other part, expiratory effort. Maximal expiratory effort. Yes, maximal expiratory effort, volume of air we take out. Also over and beyond tidal volume. Over and beyond tidal volume. Over and beyond tidal volume, this is our expiratory part, by maximum expiratory effort. Inspiratory reserve volume by maximum inspiratory effort, over and beyond the tidal volume. over and beyond the tidal volume, maximum expiratory effort, expiratory reserve volume. Only through this graph, only draw this graph, remember this graph, and derivation deduction is almost easy. And the value here is 1.3 liters, and inspiratory effort was 2 to 3 liters. Tidal volume was 500 milliliters or 0.5 liters. Yes, these values are important, and we are remaining with one, that is our residual volume, RV, the volume of air even after maximal expiration, even after maximal expiration. Now returning to the graph, you see even after maximal expiration, this value, volume of air in the lungs even after maximal value, residual volume. And the value here is very important, 1.2 liters. So 1.3 liters ERV, 1.2 liters is our residual volume in the lungs. Okay, yes, tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and reserve volume. Okay, yes, 500 milliliter, 2 to 3 liters, 1.3 liters, and reserve volume is 1.2 liters. Yes. Now, after the discussion of lung volumes, here in this discussion we will expand us to volume lung capacities. Lung capacities. Yes, these capacities are merely a culmination of all the volumes, are given different names onto different conditions. So let's see one by one. Okay, first is our inspiratory capacity. Inspiratory capacity, very simple, this is our IC. Okay, this is the sum of tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. Here tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume summation, here inspiratory capacity. What is the value here? You know, tidal volume is 0.5 liters plus inspiratory reserve volume is 2 to 3 liters. Okay, it's 2.5 to 3.5 liters inspiratory capacity. Yes. Now second we have our functional residual capacity. Functional residual capacity, very important capacity, important lung volume, FRC. How? Because this we will discuss further. Yes, this is the summation of expiratory reserve capacity volume plus residual volume, or last two volumes, functional residual capacity. This total volume, functional residual capacity, expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. And how much is the value? 1.3 liters we have seen, 1.2 liters we have seen, total 2.5 liters. Yes. To the third capacity, okay, we have the vital capacity. Vital capacity, okay, VC. Now this is the sum of, okay, tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, and expiratory reserve volume, all the three top volumes. 0.5 liters plus, let's take the average as 2.5 liters plus 1.3 liters, and it comes out nearly to 4.3 to 4.5 liters. Okay, 4.3 to 4.5 liters is our vital capacity. We can also say that it is nearly 4 liters. Yes. Now under the final capacity, after the vital capacity, we have a total lung capacity. Total lung capacity, total capacity of the lung, TLC. Just add all the volumes in the lung volume discussion: tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. Here no residual volume was there in vital capacity. Total lung capacity residual volume is added. So we can also say that this is our what, vital capacity plus residual volume. So total lung capacity is vital capacity plus residual volume, which is our average 4 liters plus 1.2 liters. You can say that it is 5.2 to 5.5 liters total lung capacity. So TLC is our 5.5 liters of total, or average if you take, it's 5 liters. Now expanding this discussion, we have seen that functional residual capacity is average 2.5 liters. Okay, functional residual capacity is 2.5 liters, which is a 5 liters half. So we can say FRC is equal to total lung capacity half of total lung capacity. Very important point here. FRC is equal to half of total lung capacity. Okay, yes. Now what do we mean by this actually? So this actually derives into the statement that, yes, we'll see, it's the FRC is the, okay, let me write it again. FRC is the volume of lung. Okay, it's a volume of lung exactly, okay, at midpoint, exactly at midpoint, also called equilibrium volume. Okay, yes. So FRC is a equilibrium volume. It's the volume of the lung exactly at the midpoint, which is equal to half of the total lung capacity. It's also there that FRC is also said that it's the volume of air, okay, at the end of normal expiration. At the end of normal expiration. Yes, this is what is important here. At the end of normal expiration is FRC, which is our midpoint of our midpoint or equilibrium volume, FRC. That's why this value discussion is important. So seen 4 volumes: inspiratory capacity IC, expiratory capacity or functional residual capacity FRC, vital capacity, and finally total lung capacity. Now how will remember the addition of the values? So I'm going to say you trick here. Okay, listen carefully. So we have first here we have our total volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. So we mark this 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we'll go in the chronological order. First is our inspiratory capacity. Okay, tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. We have marked 1 and 2, so this is 1 plus 2 here. Okay, then we have a functional residual capacity, we have expiratory reserve volume and residual volume. So we'll mark this as 3 plus 4. First we mark this as 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in the chronological order we remember this. We have done functional residual capacity 3 plus 4, which is our expiratory reserve volume and residual volume. Now vital capacity, we know tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume and expiratory reserve volume. So this will be 1 with 2 and 3, not RV. Vital capacity does not include residual volume. And finally total lung capacity, total capacity of the lung here, how much air the lung maximally can hold, which is all the inclusion of all the values 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Vital capacity does not include 4, which is RV. Total lung capacity is vital capacity plus residual volume. So you can remember through practice. So this numbering, yes. Now for measurement of these volumes and capacities, okay, now we have measurement of volumes and capacities. Okay, measurement of volumes and capacities. For measurement, we can measure all of them except You can measure all of them except three volumes we need to remember. First is a residual volume. Okay. First is our last volume, residual volume. Residual volume we can't measure, and the measurement here is by spirometry. Spirometry. Yes. The term is here spirometry. So spirometry we can measure all the volumes except three volumes. First is the last volume we discussed, residual volume. Okay. Now in the capacities where the residual volume is included, those can be measured. Residual volume is included in FRC, which is expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. Okay. As the residual volume is included here, this can't be measured. FRC can't be measured. Also, we have total lung capacity, reserve vital capacity plus residual volume. Here residual volume is included, so this can't be measured. Can't be measured with spirometry. Okay. Yes, the procedure is here spirometry. You can measure all of them except residual volume. First is the residual volume, then the residual volume included in capacity such as FRC and total lung capacity. Yes. Now term is there, we call that as closing volume. Closing volume. Okay, this is closing volume. It is the volume of air, okay, present in alveoli. Present in alveoli. Volume of air in alveoli. This alveoli is the most dependent, okay, most dependent region of the lung. Region of the lung. Alveoli is the most dependent region of the lung. Nearing end of expiration. Okay, nearing the end of expiration. The alveoli nearing the end of expiration begins to close. Okay. Now while closing encloses some air. Closes some air called closing volume. Okay. We'll see again. Okay. What is closing volume? It is the volume of air in the alveoli. This alveoli is the most dependent region of the lung. Remember, alveoli is the most dependent region of the lung. This nearing the end of expiration, it begins to close. Alveoli begins to close. Okay. While closing encloses some air. Near the end of expiration, alveoli begins to close. While enclosing closes some air. Now this special term is given closing volume. Closing volume. Okay. Yes. Now what is closing capacity? Closing capacity, which is our closing volume in addition with residual volume. Yes, closing volume with residual volume. This is the discussion here. Closing volume with residual volume. Closing volume while closing encloses some air who the alveoli, which is the most dependent part of lung. Now moving on, we've seen that FRC, especially FRC, we'll discuss FRC. Seen this FRC can't be measured by spirometry. Okay, we have seen that. Yes. So now we'll see some measurement methods to measure FRC. So measuring FRC. Okay. Yes. First is our helium dilution method. Helium dilution method. Second one is our nitrogen washout method. Nitrogen washout method. Yes, the two methods we have said here, helium dilution and nitrogen washout method. But these two steps are not used now. Not used now. Obsolete. Okay, now most commonly used here is our this technique is called body plethysmography. Body plethysmography. Body plethysmography. Yes, body plethysmography. Now what do we do this in body plethysmography? We'll see here. So draw the diagram, see what are the components in this diagram. Okay, yes. So first this is a box. Okay, it's a big box capable of containing a human, of which we are going to measure the FRC. So here we contains our human in this big box. It's a glass box, completely closed, completely cut off. Here we have human subject. Okay, and this box, and we have human. Okay, now this human will give some air out and also take some air in. Everything inside the box, everything inside the box. Okay, now this all is based on Boyle's law. Based on Boyle's law. What is Boyle's law? We have discussed before. Pressure is inversely proportional to volume, or volume is inversely proportional to pressure. Now the volume changes takes place at the level of lungs. Okay, the volume changes takes place at the level of lungs of the human, and the pressure changes, okay, takes place at the level of mouth region. Takes place at the level of mouth region. Yes. So this is the all about our body plethysmography. So it's a sealed glass box here which contains our human subject. Now inside this subject, everything will do, take out the air and take in the air. Now this all plethysmography is based on the Boyle's law, which is pressure inversely proportional to volume and volume inversely proportional to pressure. Now this volume and pressure changes are important. Volume changes the level of lungs, pressure changes level of mouth region. So everything takes place, the changes takes place in relation to human. No box environment is related here, and as the human is contained in the box, FRC is calculated here. Okay, yes. Now accordingly the pressure and volume increase and decrease, you can calculate out yourself. When during inspiration at the level of lungs, the volume of air will obviously increase. Okay, we take in air, the volume increase and the pressure will decrease obviously. Now at the level of box, we take in the air, so the volume of air will decrease in the box and the pressure will increase. That's the whole funda. And you can also do for expiration at the level of lungs, we take out the air, so volume will decrease and the pressure will increase. At the level of mouth region or the box, the volume of air will increase and the pressure will automatically decrease based on the Boyle's law here. Yes. Moving on, we have a formula here, special formula to calculate FRC. Okay, FRC. The formula here is a very complicated formula, so see carefully. FRC is equal to, for calculation of FRC, we have our pressure PMI into VLI. Okay, is equal to this equation PMF into VLI plus delta V. Okay, now let's see one by one what are the terms are. Okay, first is the PMI, pressure at the mouth initially. Okay, pressure at mouth initially. Yes. VLI, volume at lungs initially. Now moving on to next side of the equation, PMF. Okay, pressure at mouth finally. Okay, now in the bracket we have VLI plus delta V. Okay, this VLI, volume of lung initially, is our volume of lungs initially, is our FRC. This VLI, volume of lungs initially, is our FRC. Remember here, very important. VLI in the is equal to FRC here. Okay, and delta V, moving on to delta V, change in volume. Change in volume. Change in volume finally. So this is the equation. PMI into BLI is equal to PMF into addition of VLI along with change in volume. Okay, so as we know, this VLI is the volume of lungs initial, which is our FRC. Modifying this equation will look like this. This is the modified equation. Okay, yes. Now some calculation information here. PMI, the initial pressure at the mouth region, we take that as normal atmospheric pressure, which is 760 millimeters of mercury. Okay, pressure in the initial pressure at the mouth region, or you can say of the box, is 760 millimeters of mercury. And the changed final pressure will be given in the question. We will ask to calculate VLI or FRC. Okay, so this was all our discussion on the static lung volumes and capacities. Okay, moving on, we will see the dynamic lung volumes. Dynamic lung volumes and capacities. Very interesting discussion here. Dynamic lung volumes and capacities. Yes. So we all know the two important factors here. This is time dependent. For example, we have seen the forced expiratory volume at first second, FEV1, and used for diagnosis, clinically relevant. Yes. Now the procedure here. So first this is the procedure. Okay. For dynamic lung volume calculation here. Okay, so we ask the patient to take deep inspiration. Deep inspiration, we also mean that maximal inspiratory effort. Maximal inspiratory effort. Yes, following deep inspiration, we ask them, followed by fast and forceful expiration. Fast and forceful expiration. Deep inspiration or maximal inspiratory effort, which is followed by fast and forceful expiration for 6 seconds. So here the time factor comes in. Specified time 6 seconds we have here. Okay, fast and forceful expiration for 6 seconds. So here we will calculate our first value, that is our FBC6, which is our forced vital capacity. Forced vital capacity 6 seconds. Okay, very important discussion here. Listen carefully. So here first second, 2 seconds, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, and 6 seconds. Now we need to calculate FEV1/6, forced expiratory volume in first second. So we need to focus on first second here, only on first second. Okay, this first second we will calculate the FEV1, forced expiratory volume in first second. Rest all this not important. Why not important? We'll see later. From 2 second to 6 second, It's not important the calculation of forced expiratory volume. For 6 seconds we calculate FBC, forced vital capacity. Okay, from this first second we got forced expiratory volume in first second. Now the significance of this is, in all healthy individuals, the FEV1, forced expiratory volume in first second, is 70 to 80% of total FBC6 itself. Okay, this value FEV1 is 70 to 80% of total FBC. The total FBC total value is 70 to 80% is alone in the first second. So that's why we calculate FEV1 in first second. This is why it is clinically relevant. So we'll take the ratio here. We got the ratio. So the ratio here is FEV1 by FBC ratio. These are 70 to 80% in all healthy individuals. And in diagnosing individuals, this ratio will get altered. Okay, helps in diagnosis. Yes, helps in diagnosis. This ratio, this 70 to 80% of total, 70 to 80% is the ratio. Yes, this ratio is called Tiffany's index. Tiffany's index. Okay, Tiffany's index. This ratio FEV1 to FEG helps in diagnosis, clinically relevant. Now using this ratio, okay, we can get our some knowledge on two types of diseases that we have. It is our obstructive lung disease OLD and restrictive lung disease RLD. Okay, very commonly asked in the exams everywhere. Okay, this Tiffany's index used to understand lung complications. FEV1 to FP6 ratio, how it is helps to understand complications, we will see here. First is our OLD, old obstructive lung diseases. We are going to have a very important discussion here, so listen carefully. And our RLD, restrictive lung disease. Okay, yes, restrictive lung disease. In obstructive lung disease, first we will see the examples in between two. One example here is COPD. Okay, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. COPD is old example, obstructive lung disease. Okay, RLD example, we have our opposite, pulmonary fibrosis. So this is the example difference. Okay, and the COPD, remember, takes place in effort independent part. What is the effort independent part? Small and medium airways. Small and medium airways are affected. Okay, small and medium airways are affected in COPD, effort independent part. Okay, now we'll see the relation of FEV1 to FB6 ratio, that is our Tiffany's index. Okay, now in old or obstructive lung disease, okay, we will see fall in FeV1 by FV6 ratio. Fall in FeV1 to FV6 ratio. This indicates obstruction. Indicates obstruction. Yes, this is a simple discussion here. FeV1 to ratio will fall. Okay. So, what could be the reasons? Either FeV1 will decrease or FVC will increase. Okay. In the numerator FeV1 will decrease, or in the denominator FVC will increase. So there is a fall in the ratio. Old COPD fall. Okay. Yes. Now this pulmonary fibrosis needs a special discussion here because it's a bit complicated here. So listen carefully. Now in pulmonary fibrosis, first we'll see FeV1 to FVC ratio. Okay, remains normal. So how will stay normal? It's a disease. How will stay normal? See here, the FeV1 is falling as well as FVC is falling. Okay, both values are falling, but both are equally falling. Both are equally falling. Yes, both are falling, but both are equally falling. So ratio is normal. Ratio is normal. Okay, this happens in early stages of RLD, restrictive lung disease, for example pulmonary fibrosis. This is the early stage of RLD. FVC ratio normal, proportionate falling of both, equally falling of both. Early stages of restrictive lung disease. Now the disease will further progress on further progress of disease. Okay, the ratio will increases. Okay, ratio increases. Why? FeV1 falls, FVC falls more. Both falls. Okay, but FVC falls more. Falling here, FeV1 falls, also it falls, but FVC fall is much more. So the ratio increases on further progress of the disease. Ratio increases. Why? FVC fall is more than FeV1. So this was the restrictive lung disease ratio interpretation. Okay, in old obstructive lung disease, fall in COPD. Okay, but in pulmonary fibrosis, early stages ratio normal, but in later stages ratio increases because FVC fall is more as compared to FeV1. Yes. So this was our total discussion on the lung volumes and capacities. Okay. Yes, we have seen the lung volumes. You have seen tidal volumes, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. Then combining them, we will get the capacities. We got the most important FRC. How FRC is calculated and why FRC is important. It's the equilibrium volume. Yes, remember this graph only will solve most of the problems. Okay, then following FRC, we saw the spirometry. Except we can calculate everything except those are residual volume and the equations containing residual volume. FRC, residual volume, and total lung capacity. Very important question asked most of the time. Then we saw the dynamic lung volumes, the capacities, the all important ratio FeV1 to FVC ratio, how they are interpreted in obstructive and restrictive lung disease. In obstructive we have our COPD and restrictive we have fibrosis. how their ratio increases, decreases, or remains normal with prognosis and diagnosis of the disease. It's a very short topic but very important for discussion, clinically relevant. So keep revising them, guys. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Good luck.